Here is October 3rd, Tuesday. So here's your Monday, and here's your Tuesday. So I'm going to do something a little different. I'm actually going to show you not a screenshot, but the actual chart. Uh, but I'm going to show you the whole thing. And this line right here is the 12 o'clock. So the reason why I want to show you this is because it's really good to understand what's going on in the bigger picture. Like even right here, you can see that we're underneath this sort of trend. Even if you didn't draw that line, understanding what is going on relative to the bull bear pivot and the mid range. So anytime at the end of the day you end up having this like spike up, when you had this huge gap down, but it gapped down right into previous day's low. So what do? You go long. This is the example of huge gap down, and then you have a gap fill before a potential reversal. And it did exactly that. So first 5, 10, 15 minutes, it was underneath the bear pivot. So you would think, oh, okay, it's going to go short, which you could have gone short right here. The moment you get stopped out, then you flip and you target for the gap fill, which it barely did. But then once you get here, it's almost like a no-brainer. You short it. And then if it ends up breaking back above here, then it's going to be violent and it's going to keep going. But, I mean, look at this. I mean, for this candle to come down, the gap down all the way down, and then for it to rip through is very rare. So you could have mortgaged the house and said, hey, look, we're going to short right here and then hold for the bigger picture. So right here, this is your gap down below bear pivot, gap fill, and then reverse. And this is why it was violent, because it was faking a lot of people out, and it was the liquidation. It was had a lot of liquidity going on. So right here, you short. Well, immediately at 9 o'clock, right to the T. News usually comes out, or some kind of report at 9 o'clock. So that is probably, I think, what happened. But news or no news, you play the chart. Okay, it's resistance until proven otherwise. If you would have got short within a 5-minute candle, you almost had a 100-point move. It dropped. The fact that it dropped down with violence underneath the previous day lows is super bearish. And now so what you can do is you can just draw a line like that, and now visualize this as your oh shit moment, like we should never come back above. So you can, if you miss this move, you could have shorted right here, and your target would be, even though we are above the mid pivot, your target would be probably the ATR because of this big volatile move. So your trade would be from here to down here, and sure enough, it did that by 10 o'clock. Again, like all my other videos, I use 5-minute candles with 30-minute overlays, and I use Central Time, and instead of talking Eastern Time, because that's where I live. So with that said, that's how you would play this. And normally, a lot of emotions would be high right here when you see a big drop, because you never know. It could be a big drop and then a big yank and reversal. That's why you have to be very cognizant of where you're entering in and defining your risk reward. Even if you missed all this, you could have even waited right here. And if you notice, it actually came back up. It stopped all these people out. Because look, this could have been a look below and then reverse. It did look below, and it actually came back above because this candle never finished. But then at the end of the 5-minute, it ended up finishing below here. And then now you would say, okay, they've showed their cards. It's a huge rejection candle. Now I'm going to go short and target down here. Until then, you're playing in this no man's land right here, because this reversal is retesting this the previous day low. Over time, you'll learn all this. This just takes a while to understand how to understand the language and to tell a story, because that's all the market is. It's learning the story, finding good risk rewards, and then learning this language. It's like me telling you, hey, I want you to spend 3 to 6 months learning French or Spanish. If you learn this, then you'll get a job as a translator. It's the same thing with the market. If you spend 3 to 6 months learning this language and how the market moves and the rhythm, then you'll be successful and you'll be a trader at the end of that time. So let's go back to the market. This is all still morning session. You had this huge dump, but again, it's now extended. You are now at a full ATR range, and yes, it broke, but you're getting at 10:30. Here's the 10:30 time, and now the European close is closed. So now the likelihood is it's not going to continue down. So what do? We end up now until the end of the session, we break above, but you see that we're not getting a lot of momentum. Ideally, what I was looking for this trade was a retest of this this fib between the mid ATR and the full -1 ATR, but we never got that. And the fact that we never got it, when we at 12 o'clock we broke back below, this is when you want to short. Even though it could be considered a double bottom, it's now resistance until proven otherwise. And you're like, well, what do I do? Where do I know where to go? Well, you want to actually go into your settings and for the ATR, or setting the ATR, and you want to say show extensions. You see how you say show all fibs? But here I want to say show extensions. So if I show extensions, what do? We go from here to the next mid-range extension. This is your -2 ATR. This is another full ATR. There's only one time in my trading career that I've been doing this for 3 years that I've actually seen that. Very rare. So don't even think about it. But there are some occasions, there's that 5% out of a month that you'll have to use the extension or beyond. But once you start getting overextended, you're better not to even play this. If you do, you always want to look for some kind of reversal, because what do we end up doing? We came down, and then the last 30 minutes of the day, you ended up yanking almost. This was almost like 50 to 70 points right here. So that was a lot of Momo here because they were closing their position. But you targeted to now the resistance of the ATR. So that's how the afternoon play. There was still range, but you needed to notice that we consolidated. We could not break right here. You see, we can really not break above. So this was at 12 o'clock, look above and fail, and you could have got in short right here and then started adding to your position all the way down, and this would have been my target. From here to here, I would have been done and wrapped it up. There's no reason, because now you see all these candles. These are 5 minutes. You see the range. You're in a 10 to 20 point range. This right here, this trend, it can get really you can get a lot anxious because you don't know when the reversal candle is. So here you have to have patience, and it might take you half an hour just to move this range. So, but you got to remember, we've already had a massive range. So it's like trying to squeeze more life out of the lemon. There's only so much juice you can squeeze, and now you're just picking up the crumbs. So that's how you play. And this is a great example of showing you what a full range from gap fill to previous day close all the way to -1 ATR, and then using the extensions and how to use the extensions. So, all right, until tomorrow.